Hello everyone. In this video, I will demonstrate how to work on the first progress report involving RStudio. So, if you have installed RStudio successfully, well, to do that, you have to install R program first and then RStudio, and then you will be able to run RStudio with this interface here. So the RStudio interface has four windows. On the top left, it will have a script editor or the file source. And the bottom left is the R console. So this would be the R program that you would have if you didn't have RStudio, you would only have this. RStudio is simply an interface for you to work on R more easier with a more user-friendly interface. On the top right, it shows environment, history, connections, tutorial, and these kind of information. And on the bottom right, it shows files, plots that you can make, possible packages you can install, and etc. So my recommendation is put all the commands on the script for you to save and load and edit freely. And then what we use a lot is that when you code commands, we used the comments with the with this pawn symbol, and that way we can make notes, and it can also help others better understand your code. And I use this to explain what each line of codes is for. And I recommend that you have all the files on the documents folder, which is the default folder for RStudio, and then work on it. By that way, you will have less confusion and less trouble where you have files on all different folders. You have to locate it every time on your code. All right, so the first step for this week's progress report is to download this file, right? So download the data file and then make sure you copy and paste or cut and paste. Or for me, I'll just simply drop this from my downloads folder to the documents folder because the documents folder is the default folder for RStudio. And then if you refresh the files window by pressing the home button, you will see that now you have this file ready for use. For R to um, read an Excel file, you need to install a package that enables you to read Excel files on R. But if you would do it on R, you would have to code that yourself. But in RStudio, by default, there's functions that can help you do that. The first way to do it is to load a workspace on the environment folder right here. On this window, click this icon, choose the file, choose this file and open it. Second way to do it is find the file on this environment the files window, and you can click on it and you have the import dataset option. It's the same thing. If you do this, it will show the data, and I see that the data is read correctly, and I click import. By doing that, this code you would have had to typed in yourself is automatically ran on our console. So I will import it. And now you see that this command has ran. And now you have the data set on your source. That means that this data set is now loaded to the memory in my R program. So you can ignore this kind of message because this is because my R version is kind of outdated. you should have installed the most recent versions, so you might not get this error message. Okay, so next thing is to move on to the script window. If you don't have a script window, for example, and if it's just showing your data source, you'll have to click this icon here with the down arrow to open a new R script. Then you will have a R script window where you can um, freely type in all the commands. Okay, so the next thing for you to do is test the basic functions. And I created this example code, and let me explain what this example code is about. So here I am defining what I will call summarize stats. My summarize stats is a function of the data and the variable names. And uh, what I call a variable is from my data set and the variable name inside my data set. And how I calculate the stats is based on uh, these kind of statistics. The first statistics I'm requiring, what I will call a mean, is the actual mean of the variable. When in our data set, our first data set is not a completely um, organized or cleaned data set. You will have so for data analysts, you always have to clean your data set um, consistently for you to run the data correctly. So this is our kind of raw data set before cleaning data. Um, so it might have some missing values. And we're just assuming that missing values are random and we will just ignore. Uh, this is the command to ignore the missing values. So next is the median, next is the mode, and then the variance and standard deviation. These are actual R commands. These are basic R commands, and we're just making it simple by designating the terms of what it is. And then what we will call stats, this will be a summarize of stats based on our data set and the variable name. So what this is telling you here is that you can just change the variable name to get the stats that we designated here. So if I would run this command, it will show summary stats of extraversion. Extraversion is the first uh, data, first variable of the first row of variable in our data set. So I'm going to run all of this. So you can select all or drag the portion of the lines that you want to run. In this case, we have to run everything because right now this is only in the script. It's not ran on our program. So we have to input all of this information into R's memory. So like I did, I will click and drag everything and click this run button to run my command. So all of this ran correctly. And as we define what is a summary of stats is based on what we define stats, we gave five statistics as we defined all these five statistics as the stats. So it's giving me those five statistics. The mean for our extraversion variable, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. So now all of this is in the memory, right? So we don't have to redefine this. Now for the next variable, for example, agreeableness, and to give you a heads up, the capitalized letters and the exact variable name has to be, it has to match exactly with the data set. So make sure you copy and paste it correctly. So if I will put agreeableness and just if I will want the stats of agreeableness, what we define, what the stats is, then I would just drag and select this proportion, 2 lines, and run it. And there you go, you have agreeableness. So you can do this for all remaining variables. We have total of 8 variables of interest, and it will be all saved, ran on this R console. The next task given to you is after you do all this, of course, you have to understand what each line is meaning. Like I said, we're defining what summarized stats is, and we're defining what we will call variables. So now variables is from our data set, and each stats that we defined is if we require to print stats, it's going to give us a list of mean, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. So since we've defined what is stats and what is summarized stats from uh, our data set name, which is this, and our variable name, which is each variable. And if we ask to print stats, it will print stats of a certain variable from a data set with the function based on what we define the summarized stats is and what is stats. So after you did that, you can copy and paste all of it and submit it as your first progress report. But I want you to go further. So I added a wrapping up activity where you can use generative AIs to help learn our commands. So to give you a heads up, there's a more simple command to get summary stats, the basic summary stats that is defined by default in our program. So if you would copy and paste this command of that I want a summary of all the variables in my data set, then you would just copy and paste and run this. You can do this because we already ran this that we loaded a package that enables us to read Excel files as a data set. And we already defined that this data is from this file. So now all we have to do is run this, and it will give statistics of all of the variables. We have 13 variables in our data set, so it's going to give us 13. Among the 13s variables, the psychological constructs that we are interested in are 8 of those: extroversion, agreeableness, preseason hope, state hope, student involvement, team ID, attendance intention, and flourish, which is well-being. And you can see that the mean, median are uh, the same variables. Yeah, from here, mean, medians are the same variables. Mean and median for agreeableness is same, right? So it shows that all the informations are correct. So this is just default summary stats that R gives you by default. If you want information about variance and standard deviation, you would have to define it and run it individually. That's why I wanted to have gain the ability to run each stats of each variable and also define each stats. And also it is asking, I put this boxplot command for you to work on some simple visualization. So boxplot is a really simple visualization for each variable. You can search what the boxplot is, but if we run this, it will run a boxplot of extroversion. So if we run a boxplot, it shows where the median is. It shows where the median is. and it shows the range from the first quartile to the third quartile, and then the entire range of our data set. Um, and anything out of this range will be considered outliers. So this is the basic box plot given by the default R command. But I'm asking you to be creative and work on a generative AI to create a box plot for multiple variables. So let me show you how you can do this by yourself. So uh, let's start from a simple prompt. So I'm just using Gemini because I have a Texas A&M license, but you can use any type of ChatGPT. So I will start by asking, can you help me uh, create an R code to visualize box plots for multiple variables? And then ChatGPT generative AIs are really good with coding any type of computer language. So it gives you a lot of information, right? And it's quite overwhelming. It's gonna show you what kind of package that they will use, and they already created a dummy sample, a hypothetical data. So it shows a lot of information, right? So I'm just gonna tell Gemini that I don't need a dummy data. I have actual data. Uh, my data uh, name, my data and variable names. Well, names. Let me define my data name is, so we define our data as this, right? My data name is this, and my 8 variables are my 8 variables are here, right? I will copy and paste this, and then it will create a code for me based on my prompt. So it shows that the variables that I will use is this are these variables, and then it's gonna use all of these commands to create the box plot. So it looks very complicated, right? But you can kind of delve into all of these commands because ChatGPT provides all these comments using the pound key, right? It's pound symbol. So what I need to do is copy and paste all of this, simply doing that and run all of it, right? From my new line from 25 to my final line, I will run it, and now I have a new plot, uh, which my first plot showed a single variables box plot. Now I have a new plot which combines all of the 8 variables. It's showing the outliers, the range, the box from the first to third quartile, and the end points. This way we can better understand the characteristics of our data. Some data are coded from 1 to 8. Some variables are coded from 1 to 7. And we can see that attendance intention is very skewed because the median is a 7. So most students have a intention to attend football games. So we can understand that. So it gives us a visualization to more easily understand our data, and we're going to practice that. From the upcoming weeks, we will practice on these. All right, so this was a demonstration to help you work on the first progress report. So I hope this helped. All you have to do is select all of the console commands that you ran and copy it and paste it to a Word file. I recommend the Word file, and that will give me a way to see all of the commands that you ran on R to understand that you have ran all the commands correctly, that you have completed the progress report correctly. So I only ran the individual stats for extroversion and agreeableness, but you should have all the 8 of them. And also, I will see that you will have a box plot created for the all variables based on the commands that you ran. And ChatGPT will give you all different types of methods to create box plots. So it may not look exactly the same of what I have, and that's not a problem. So I'm just simply showing you a way to utilize generative AI to help you better be a better coder. Because we're sport management students. You guys are sport management students. We don't have background in computer science, but nowadays it's getting more easy for us to run data analytics because there's so many resources out there, and this will be a skill set that you will be able to communicate with data science scientists and also be a data scientist yourself. Okay, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please let me know, contact me through email whenever you have any questions. Okay. Thank you.